You thought last Friday was important with the quad witch? Well, what we do here on pre-market prep is we prepare you for perhaps the most important day of the year, the Russell 3000 and balancing, stocks coming in and out, moving all over the place. How will things turn out? We don't know, but we're going to explore the possibilities on pre-market prep.
Coming to you live from downtown Detroit, this is Benzinga's Pre-Market Prep with your hosts, Joel Elconin.
This is a volatile puppy here, isn't it?
And Dennis Dick.
I'm bidding a penny. I'd buy that stock for a penny.
With everything you need to start your trading day.
Good morning, traders and investors. We had a strong close, but we've been basically leaking since that 6 p.m. open. End result, we're down 21 and 3/4 handles at 41.02. The buck is perking up. That's up 57 cents at 102.56. Bond traders, once again, let me reiterate the importance of 128.10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 highs in that area. That reminds me of 134 a while ago. Crude just can't hold 70. Bad day yesterday, down 84 cents at 68.68. Gold just a muted rebound after a few bad days, up 550, 1929.30. Silver descending on 22, down 7.7 cents at 30.39. Bitcoin futures, they're down $10 at 30,360. And to get things started, I'm also going to give the IWM. It's down a $1.66 at 181.67. Triple D, you went to bed early last night. You got up, you did your exercises, and you are ready to attack this market today.
I did my exercises by doing my Russell homework is what I've done. That's my exercises here. And yes, I am ready to attack this day. Open, you don't see as much action, but we will have some significant action on the close. It is indeed Russell Rebalance Day. This happens once a year on the 4th Friday of June. And today we're going to see a lot of stocks moving. Smaller caps mostly. You will see some movement in some of the larger caps as well. Percentages are changing, so there will be some movement in and out. But overall, you see the small caps really have some movement, and some individual stocks may really move as well. So basically, you've got stocks going into the index, stocks coming out of the index. It is based on the market cap. So as they go up, they move into the other one. As they get smaller, they move out. So you have what's called adds and deletes. And that's what we're going to be talking about here for the next few minutes.
Yeah, the weighting in one that it's being taken out of sometimes can overshadow the one that it's going into.
Yes.
So it creates a lot of movement. So what is your homework? How do you prepare? And then what time during the day? I mean, obviously imbalances and things. Walk us through the prep, and then when you start really focusing in on the market information.
Prep used to be for me 2 months ahead of this day, believe it or not. But I don't prep it that far ahead anymore because it's just the inefficiencies aren't like they used to be. It used to be the ads would drift up into Russell Rebalance Day and the deletes would drift down into Russell Rebalance Day. But everybody pretty much knows what the list, even though it's not officially announced until 2 weeks ahead. You can just project, and there's multiple investment banks doing projections of this information all the time, so it's fairly easy to figure out what's going in and what's going out. There's a lot of gaming and a lot of other things now, so for the most part, my main strategy on this now is to fade moves on the close. So today, looking at the close, maybe there's going to be some of these deletes that maybe get hit. Maybe they actually go up. We don't always know the direction for sure. Like I said, it used to be, okay, well, we'll short the deletes, we'll buy the ads, and we'll just make the spread and we'll make money. It's just not that simple anymore. Trades get crowded. You get caught on the wrong side. I've seen some years where the deletes are going straight up and the ads are going straight down. You're like, what's going on? And I mean, some ARBs really get crushed on stuff like that. And that's just, again, crowded trades. So lots of things can happen. Direction is always a little bit of a mystery, But what usually works, nothing works 100% of the time, but what usually works is fading the closing moves. So if you get a stock gapping up 5% on the close, I would be shorting that one. You get a stock gapping down 3-4% on the close, I probably would be buying that one, hoping for a little bit of retracement, maybe after hours or maybe on Monday morning. That's kind of the strategy involved.
And also, a lot of times you're not doing it with a single order, right? Because if it gets one level, then you want one tranche on. But if it happens to go to like an
Sometimes, yeah.
extreme, if it
Yeah.
goes to an extreme, then you might get 3 tranches on. And it just depends on the size of the imbalance. We won't tell the whole story when you forgot to turn off your
Oh gosh.
algorithm the day before you were going to Europe and you kept getting new positions.
Yeah, I know.
We will save that for
Well, I can give
another
you the
time.
Coles
Tell it
notes.
real quick.
I can do the 1 minute version. So
1
I
minute
traded the rest
version.
rebalance. It would have been probably 12 or 13 years ago, and running algorithmic software on it. So the imbalances break out. They were always coming out at 340 back then. And what you often see is and don't confuse rebalance with imbalance. So the imbalance, which we talk about on the show quite often, they now come out at 350 for New York Stock Exchange stocks and for NASDAQ stocks as well. So it gives you a feel for where they're going on the close. And in a lot of cases, those imbalances can be an indicator of, if a stock's got a big buy imbalance at 350, it may be going up on the close. Big sell imbalance may be going down on the close. So I had, basically algorithmic software, buy all the buy imbalances, sell all the short, all the sell imbalances. Anyways, it was just a wild close. I was getting fills left and right. I'm talking like boom, boom, like so many fills coming at me. And then I was trading out of some of these positions. Like, didn't I just sell that? Why did I rebuy it? And anyways, I had minimized my algorithmic trading software in the background, and it was still running. So, I mean, one thing I always joke about, if you're running algorithmic trading software, have it on your screen front and center. But I had a minimize button. I did not realize my software was still running. So I was buying the stocks, and then my software turned around and shorted again. So, I mean, it was just crazy. But anyways, ended up getting, I couldn't get flat by the close, had to hedge myself out, major hedging going on with S&Ps, and traded out of the rest of it from London, England the next day, because I was leaving for London, England the next Monday. So it was a little bit hectic, but that's the short version. The long version is like a 20-minute story.
Okay. All right. Hey, we got Mitch lurking in the background here. Do you want to start with some overall market talk, macro news? Where should we go?
Just before we get out of here, was there any additions and deletions that
let's
you wanted
just
to
talk
point out,
specifically
Dennis?
here.
Because I just
Stick
want to
on
at least make sure.
Sure. And if you want to bring up the list back up, so
Yeah, I
my
got it
homework,
right here.
You got, the Russell 3000 deletes. You got the microcaps additions. You've got I'm just showing you how many pages. Microcap
Yeah, it's
deletes.
like
There's
7
pages. And then you got the
on-
3,000 ads. I have about 20 pages printed out here right now. I printed out these exact pages. Money Mitch will put the link in the chat if you need to figure out where this is. But just Google Russell reconstitution, and you'll see the Russell site. Then you just go down to the ads delete buttons, and you'll see everything going in. I mean, there's some names on here that are fairly large. I know Dell is one of the deletes out of the 3,000, DELL. That's a name that's traded quite often. Some of the smaller names that were really lovely stocks back in 2021 and really bad stocks, obviously, over the last 2 years, like, Skills and Real or deletes. BBIG was one of those darlings, from the meme world. It's on the delete list. Express, EXPR. I've got Big Lots is coming into the microcap. Stitch Fix, SFIX. That BBAI, I know some people like to trade that one. I believe that is going into the microcap index. Just cherry picking a few names that we've talked about on the show in the past. The microcaps, 90% of these names I'm going to never hear of. But again, that doesn't mean you can't trade them. There's movement on these things. And basically just repeating what I just said, if I see big movements on the close, I typically fade those movements.
Do you have a price like threshold? Like I see, some of these stocks are like 60, 70 cents. Do you have a price threshold?
I don't typically trade stocks under $1, Joel.
Yeah, I know. Too much risk.
It's just cost efficiencies go way down. So when they start falling under $1, unless you're seeing something gap down 20% on the close, I highly am unlikely to, be trading something like let's take skills for instance, SKLZ. You'll see that one down 12% here right now. That is because they are doing a reverse split. So that's not because it's getting deleted out of the index. That's just a bonus for those people who are long those things. That's actually coming out and could have more selling pressure. But the reason SKL Zebra is down is a 1 for 20 reverse split. But something like this, if it gaps down 2 cents, you're talking about a 4% move. Well, what the hell is 2 cents?
Not
I'm not
much.
talking about, and I'm not trading for free, remember, either. So paying per share. So I typically don't trade them if they're under $1. I'll trade it if it's under $2 or $3, like $3, $4, or $5. I will trade those stocks.
And you look at every chart of every one of these stocks.
No, I'm not really looking at the charts at all. No charts at all. So I think that was a joke. But I bring them up and I look at the imbalances. So what I'll do is I'll have a screen and I'll just throw a bunch of names that I want to focus on. And at 350, when the imbalances come out, I will, and again, rebalance, imbalance, completely different thing. Waiting for the 350 imbalances to tell me whether these stocks might gap up or down. And then I'm typically placing shorts if I believe the stock's going to gap up. I'm typically placing buys if I believe the stock is going to gap down. Completely fading the moves. Complete contrarian strategy.
Let's go to the news.
Yes, and just one more question from Eric. Do you put LOCs on all these? Yes, I do. They're all limit on close orders, which is another good lesson here as well. So basically, I put an LOC, limit on close. So it's going to execute on the closing print or not execute at all. So if you put an LOC to buy a stock, let's say stock's at $5. You put your LOC to buy at $4.85. Stock close $4.90, you will not get it. Stock close at $4.75, you don't get $4.85, you get $4.75. You're getting the closing print or you're not getting the closing print. That's why I use the LOC. So the stock could be trading through my price and tanking into the close, but I'm still not going to be executed there. I'm going to be executed hopefully on the low print if it gaps down at the low print. That's why I use, especially on Russell Rebalance Day, I use limit on close orders.
All right, let's go to Jerome Powell's comments yesterday that definitely affected the banks, as he's hinting to a potential 20% increase in capital requirements for big U.S. banks, focusing on globally systemic banks with those over $100 billion in assets. What's going on in the bank situation now?
I don't worry about any of that news, but what I will worry about is the charts. So we'll go to the charts on these. And sometimes we say charts are important, charts aren't important. KRE continues to lead the charge on the downside. Banks didn't participate fantastically in the 1 month rally. They participated a little bit, but not nearly enough. And now they're rolling over here. The banks have some issues. Banks are telling you that maybe we're not out of the woods. We've been talking about KeyBank, KEY, as looking like, wow, this is looking like it's ready to fall off a cliff on the chart. I don't know, the fundamental situation there, if there's depositors coming or going or what there is. I can just tell you, it has not rallied. It started at $18 when the crisis, the regional bank crisis started. Quickly fell to 10. Well, with everything else that's bounced and you think you're past it, this thing's at 9 now. You're not far from the lows. So I worry that this regional banking crisis, which has been put in the rearview mirror by so many investors, may not be completely past us. Not picking on you, KeyBank, just showing some of these charts that are trading at the lows. There's a lot of other ones as well. These regional banks just grab the KRE it all together. It doesn't look great. Didn't get up over the 45 KRE, and now it's starting to give half of it back. Maybe this is the buying opportunity. Maybe we are past it. But at the same time, we've got to be aware that if, for whatever reason, the economy does start to slow, and if, some people worry about their money in the bank, this crisis could start up again. I think the recent strength in Bitcoin, many people attribute it to the recent strength in the NASDAQ. I would say this week, and I've been telling you guys this,
about it.
The inverse correlation between Bitcoin and the KRE is strong. And KRE has been going down for 4 straight days, and what has Bitcoin done? Went up for 4 straight days. Keep that in mind when you're trading. BITO, KRE, inversely correlated, at least for now.
Yeah, we talked about that. I brought it to attention early last week. And then also when we were doing the closing print yesterday, once again, it was one of those scenarios where Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, I don't think NVIDIA as much, but it was the big tech. And then we were looking at like the banking stocks, and we were looking at everything else, and we're looking at the IWM, and we're like, okay, this wasn't the broad participation that you wanted. And today, of course, the overnight trading act. I mean, that was a real sleeper rally right into the close, the
Yeah.
big buy imbalance. If you're short, Mitch was talking about it. You're like, oh darn, I'm going to get flat, reevaluate in the morning, and then you come in and it's like it's below your targets where you had it for some of your shorts.
Yeah.
So let's hope we can get some broad participation today and not on the downside.
I want to add some supporting comments to your Bitcoin comment there, Dennis. Of course, specifically, Fed Chair Jerome Powell stated that we see stablecoins as a form of money. And I think that this was massively important in this situation, because if the Fed Chair is saying that we could go to that digital coin, well, of course, you're going to have more people thinking that Bitcoin could get that lift, right? And so keep your eyes on that. A lot of people, I'm talking about, like, you can go on YouTube and you can see thousands of videos right now stating about that comment that was very important by Jerome Powell.
And Bitcoin, don't forget, was created. The reason this was created was because of the nonstop printing presses from the Federal Reserve and from federal banks and from central banks around the world. So this is the reason it was created. And they have predicted, these Bitcoiners, that eventually this house of cards, which is the financial, monetary system, will collapse. I mean, when you're seeing regional banks collapse, it's exactly what they predicted. So I'm not saying, that they're going to be right, but I'm saying at this moment in time, this is as right as they have ever been. So I'm not saying they're right, but this is as right, that they've ever been. So it's not surprising that as we start to see weakness again, I'm going to take it back to the KRE, that you start to see strength. And then you get comments from Powell, saying certain things as well. It gives them more fuel for the fire here. This Bitcoin rally could be real, folks. We can talk about, and I have been a trasher of Bitcoin on this network for a long time. But, we have been talking about the regional bank weakness. And I was saying it when Bitcoin was back at 20,000, that this regional bank weakness could equal some strength in Bitcoin. That strength has continued. I recently even said in June, when the Bitcoin has sold off, I said if the carry starts to roll over, Bitcoin will start to rally again. That is exactly what has occurred. So you have to respect that relationship is as strong as it gets right now, that inverse correlation between carry and Bitcoin. And then Powell saying comments like that. I'm just saying, if you're coming here and saying, well, Bitcoin, this is just all, hocus pocus, and eventually it's going back down. That may be true in the long run. I don't have a crystal ball, but I'll tell you right now, these Bitcoiners got a case.
All right, let's get to the earnings. CarMax beating the Q1 earnings estimates with an adjusted EPS of $1.16, surpassing the sales expectation. Also, we just saw recently on the CPI report that we saw used cars prices increasing. CarMax, will it get the lift?
Ooh, tough chart, but got a nice blast over $89. That's the good news. Your pre-market high $89.60. So if you had orders out, you got done. Bad news is give it back about $6 of that. Former high of the move, 81.75. I would hope that holds a support, and I don't think it's going to get to that pre-market high of 89.60.
All right, let's get to the next one. Let's go to Smith & Wesson brands, as they exceeded Q4 earnings estimates with an adjusted EPS of 32 cents, higher than the expected sales. And they also raised their quarterly dividend about 10 cents, 20% higher.
Problem is, this has a lot of overhead supply. You look at this chart and you just think everybody's caught.
What's the symbol? Symbols.
They changed the symbol on this
SWBI.
company.
More than I change my underwear.
Every year they change the
SWBI.
symbol on this company. It's honestly changed the symbol. I'm Googling right now. How many times has Smith Wesson, and the name of the company that was the problem, how many times has Smith Wesson
You should just ask
changed, ask
ChatGPT,
Bing,
man.
changed their ticker symbol?
It won't know. It won't know.
No.
It'll know it.
It's got AOBC to SWBI, but then the company changed names there too in there. So I mean, it's got to be 3 or 4 times that they've changed the names. So SWHC to
Yes.
Okay, so we got SWHC to AOBC to SWBI, but I feel like there's more than that in there. So we got 3 confirmed, but I feel like there's more in that too. And I have trouble keeping this one straight here too. But all of that, don't worry about any of that. We have all kinds of overhead supply, 12 to 12.50 here. Even though the quarter was fine, I just think this is not something I'm buying.
You guys gave me all the symbols, and now I don't have the right symbol.
SWBI.
Oh, SWBI. I just
Simon
prefer
Walter
yeah.
Bravo India.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Good call, Dennis. We can move on. And RGR, Sternberger.
Tennessee's saying it's going to next be SWAI. Probably.
Who said that?
That's when Skynet comes out and Smith Wesson kills it because they go to AI, and now all the AIs got the guns. Now we're full Terminator style here. When that goes, man. When Smith Wesson changes their symbol to SWAI, Katie bar the door.
Get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper for sure.
I think the Terminator gets more call outs on this show than I think on all other combined programming podcasting ever.
You can tell Dennis
one of the
was
most
a fan.
successful human beings that ever existed. Arnold Schwarzenegger, from professional bodybuilder, the best at everything he does. The actor, even married,
the governor,
just unbelievable. Governator. I mean, everything.
The governor.
Everything he has done has been unbelievable. So even married to Kennedy. I mean, he did it all.
And his son went to Michigan too.
Of course, Joe wanted to state that one. All right, let's go to IonQ as they're raising their booking expectations for the year about 25%, anticipating a significant year-over-year growth. Of course, IonQ, we're talking quantum computing that will really kind of drive the future, right? Well, you guys have been seeing this one. This one's been running a lot with the AI names. Can this one keep running?
Don't follow the story closely. This actually kind of looks sleepy, which is a good thing. You're in consolidation station here. You've got some lows to lean on. I'd say if I'm buying it, I'm leaning on the low of the move of 883. You're still kind of consolidation station even at 1025. I mean, you're all the way up to like $12 to really break out of here. But consolidation station here right now, so keep an eye on it.
I wish we would have talked about it yesterday because I could have said, wow, well, I mean, there's, buyers stepping up at 9, right? You can obviously see that. That doesn't do any good. When this thing can find, and it's a ways away, it's up 82 cents, but you see all these just wicks here above 11, right? So there's a pesky seller between like 11 and let's say 1150, that whole area. But once this establishes a strong 11 bid, then I think you got to move. And now you got to move 75 cents to get there. Last month's high, 1165. So when on charts like this, it's not so much saying, oh, this is resistance, this is the target. It's saying, where's the bid? Where are the true buyers? Where are they going to support this stock? They were at 9. Now what are they going to do? Are they going to immediately going to step up at 10? Or they're going to say, no, I'm going to wait for a whoosh down to 950. But nice pop on 800,000 shares.
All right, let's go to 3M as their shares are trading higher after the company reached a $10.3 billion settlement for lawsuits claimed by public water suppliers.
So this has been weighing down the stock forever. Some people were saying, this could bankrupt the company. So a settlement here is huge news. We had the rumors of the settlement. I guess it's official here now because we were talking about the settlement before when it had the big pop before. I guess maybe it's official. So it's big news for it. I mean, 10 billion is not fun to swallow, but at the same time, it's not going to bankrupt the company. So I think shareholders are rewarding it because it gives them a little more clarity on these lawsuits here. And I mean, this stock has been beat up ahead of this. It's trading what? What is the PE on 3M? I believe it's under 10. So, I mean, you get rid of this, 10 billion ain't going to be fun to pay, but let's look at the PE.
While you're looking up the PE, Dennis,
yeah,
this isn't even the big lawsuit.
Yeah, what's the big one? The talc?
No, that's
that's Johnson Johnson. What's the big one?
Earplugs.
The earplugs. Yeah, the military one.
Yeah.
Military one.
So this is just another
Man,
case.
the lawyers are just killing us.
Yeah, dude,
so we got to wait on that
bro.
there too.
How much does 3M spend on lawyers, man?
Oh yeah,
Holy moly!
Just a pile of money here, and then Johnson Johnson's with the talc, obviously too. And we're obviously
that's been going on for like 100 years.
Lawsuits, these big ones continue to go on here. So But PE on 3M is 11. So, I mean, you're trading significantly lower, and the reason is all these lawsuits weighing down on them. So if they could get past all these lawsuits, the stock could actually start to rally. It's cheap. It's dirt cheap. But at the same time, if you don't have clarity on what these lawsuits, and the big one with the earplugs, that was the one that they said could bankrupt them too. So they got some issues here.
106.70 to me is a little bit of an overshoot. You pull back at 104. But if you had missed that price action and you just want to go to last week's high, last Friday's high, we're not there yet. 104.89. I'd keep an eye on that. The closing high that day, 104.54. Probably too far away to see if there's any size stacked up in the book at 105, but that's a preliminary number ahead of that pre-market high.
Kicking it to Moderna as Moderna seeks FDA approval for an updated COVID-19 vaccine to address the dominant strain. Now, I'd kick it to the chat, not to make it political or not, but would you guys take this vaccine from Moderna?
No, I'm done with the vaccines just at this point in time. And again, what continues to weigh on all these stocks, BNTX, I don't like BNTX. I said I like Moderna better than BNTX, and I said I would have the pair trade on. I still think that exists. I think Moderna's just got, some other stuff that they're cooking up. But at the same time, there's just so much revenue loss from people taking less COVID shots that you just can't touch these stocks long. Just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, the chat has spoken, like William says, and it seems like the chat's a lot of saying no, and we're seeing a lot of no's
I think
there.
many people who said yes to the first few shots are now saying no. There's going to be so many less COVID shots given that the revenues can only go down.
Now, as an investor, would that worry you here on Moderna here near the lows on the daily?
Yeah, we're very worried. I don't want to invest in any of these. So again, I think if you're going to play Moderna, I'd be short BNTX against it for the hedge. I have said that before. The pairs trade, long Moderna, short BNTX. I don't know. It's like they're both like 140. I think I'd have to figure out where I said that.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
Yeah, I don't think Moderna. I think I'd be up in that trade, but it's hard to say because we got 33 points down on BNTX. I think from when I was talking about that trade. Maybe Moderna's down more though. Maybe it was I think it was like 150. I feel like they were close to the same price when I was saying that. Was there a time that they were close? Maybe I'm wrong. I never put the trade on, but in any regard here, I don't want to just be flat out long any of these things. And I've been hurt on my Pfizer position because of it too. So Pfizer still has all kinds of other stuff going on, but it has even been harmed by this. But BNTX and Moderna, and obviously NVAX, forget about that one. These are pure plays on the COVID shot, and people aren't getting as many COVID shots, so not for me.
All right, let's go to Virgin Galactic as they're announcing a $400 million at-the-market stock offering to raise capital, leading to a drop in their shares. And do you guys believe in Virgin Galactic? I know I don't.
Here's the issue. Is on all, and just take these beaten down stocks in general that are zombie companies and burning cash. When they get rallies, they shove offerings down your throat. So here it is. You get the 2-day rally in SPC. You're like, here we go. This is good news. And now we shove an offering down your throat because we're waiting for the price to go up so they can sell shares to raise more money. And that's exactly what you're probably going to see happen here. Stock's down 13% on that now. So it's like the rallies are so temporary because the company just puts an end to it once they do the dilution. So, I mean, there's so many zombie companies like this, same story. And then obviously, we give our sympathies to the families of the submarine operation, but that didn't do any good for the stock here either.
Yeah,
because, these high risk missions here, and then this was widely publicized. Obviously, maybe there was some issues with the quality of that sub, and maybe they don't have that at Virgin Galactic, but at the same time, these are high risk missions. I think people maybe could be spooked away from it on that.
Yeah, I would just and we'll move on after this. I just think the timing of this offering just is horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. I don't think they could have done it on a worse day. So
yeah, because it was going down yesterday, I think, because of that Origin submarine, obviously the Titanic we're talking about there. Its space was moving down on that. I think it's just these high risk, cool. I mean, it'd be really fun to see the Titanic. It'd be really fun to see outer space, but we saw firsthand that there is some risk involved there. Next.
All right, let's go to the next one here. I'll go to an upgrade, actually a downgrade here from Wells Fargo, downgrading Under Armour to equal weight and lowering the price target here. So coming after the shoes.
Thanks. When we're at like basically all time, I feel like we're at like all time lows here. Like we're not quite to the October lows.
Oh my
574,
gosh.
but oh my gosh, we're at like decade lows here. Now you're downgraded. Thanks a lot. Appreciate the help here, Wells. I don't know what to say. I mean, you got some support down here at 650. It's where all those lows are. You know, maybe this is like, you know, the capitulation that you need to thing, but Under Armour has just done everything wrong for a long time.
I don't even know people still covered this stock.
I think people are dropping coverage of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just been, you know, you think about how good of a company Nike has been. And at one point in time, 10 years ago, people were comparing Under Armour to Nike and saying Under Armour is going to maybe, you know, take out Nike as one of the first class. Not even close. You know, Nike even has been an underperformer as well, but not even close to as bad as Under Armour has been. UA has just been a terrible investment.
I think Nike has earnings next week too.
They do on Thursday night.
Thursday. So maybe if you're doing a setup for a pre-earnings run, it had a had a nice little move. It's a pretty high beta stock, right? So if you're perhaps employing Dennis strategy, maybe you put a little hedge on with it too. But nice move in it. Under Armour, I bought one pair of shorts there a long time ago, and I hate them. I don't even know why. I did buy a hat.
I have an Under Armour shirt. I don't mind the stuff. Like some of the quality of the stuff is pretty darn good, but it's just I don't know. There's obviously the business or whatever it is. The stock just continues to go down. Price don't lie.
All right, S&P's making a new low here on the session. It's just the absence of buyers. You know what? It's like no one's like, what? Wait, we rallied on the close. And now I'm stuck, and now they're just looking for a rally off the open. Big love, some big levels on the downside. We'll discuss
absence
that
of buyers and everything except Amazon. Did you see that
move?
Oh yeah, Amazon yesterday? Amazon was green here this morning. It has rolled over and gone red here now, but. Holy Amazon, new 2023 high, still significantly off its all-time high, which is way up at $188. But
was there a catalyst yesterday? Was there a catalyst? Was there a catalyst?
AI. They talked another AI thing. There was another AI headline. So I forget what it was. Maybe Money Mitch, you know. But there was another AI headline from Amazon yesterday, and AI is driving the bus on all of these stocks right now. So still on my Amazon. On my wife's RSP, actually, see, I do give her some good stocks. I gave her this one here at 108. So there is some good ones here in her portfolio, but she has a lot of dogs in there too.
There were some comments made by Josh Brown yesterday. He said that Amazon would be a prominent player in AI and that AWS was launching Generative AI Innovation Center. So that could have definitely helped out yesterday.
They were talking about this launch of this.
So they were talking a lot about it. AWS Generative AI. We'll see if this can continue giving Amazon a lift.
Karen Feinerman, I believe, made a fantastic point on CNBC's Fast Money last night too, where she said, you've got a lot of smaller companies that are just searching to say something about AI. She's like, that is not Amazon. This is for real. You know, Amazon is not looking for something to drive their share price higher. And that's what a lot of smaller companies are doing. Let's find some way to tie ourselves into AI, to release a press release to get our stock to go higher. That is not Amazon. They are real. They are going to be a major player in AI. This is, you know, obviously a stock that has a very high valuation, but at the same time, you know, can it grow into it? You know, to be
nowhere near its 50%. Oh, I wouldn't say nowhere near. I think I looked at this yesterday. A lot of these stocks, I'm just looking at this on a comparative basis. All-time high, 188. Recent low, 81.43. Call that a 108-point move. You could have 54 to 81. When I went to school, that comes out to 135. So there you go. I mean, that's halfway back. And if you want to look on a comparison basis, Apple came all the way back with a new all-time high.
Microsoft all the way back. Apple all the way back. Meta's still way off its all-time highs. Their Tesla's still way off its all-time highs. Google's still way off its all-time highs. But some of them have come back.
Yeah.
So I think some people, including myself, think, why not Amazon? Why not Google? Those are the kind of stocks that we've been talking about buying on pullbacks. You know what? That worked yesterday. Those were the stocks that were up yesterday. Google.
That's what held the market.
Reversal.
That was
for sure.
That was the market.
Let's just be honest. That was the market yesterday.
It was buyers coming into
5
tech.
stocks.
They're not coming into these value names. They're coming into the potential AI plays. Those are the stocks you probably want to be buying on pullbacks.
And the only question is, when will this kind of bubble really break, right? I think that everyone's looking to see if it does break here. I think, of course, the key driver on that will be watching kind of NVIDIA. It's been slowing down here. We'll see if it finally does break or not.
Not even, though. I mean, was getting
it's
bought
getting
back
sideways
again,
consolidation. Too. I would say sideways consolidation.
Unbelievable resilience with the market selling off. NVIDIA shrugging it off. AMD has been beat, man. My
I
AMD
know.
Yeah,
they
came after AMD.
I was nervous about that one for you. I didn't want to.
But no, you flat out told me to sell it. That's not, you didn't sound nervous. I didn't want to say anything. You told me to sell it at 125. And I even said, like, if I had it on for a trade, I'd be ringing the register at 125. But you're trying to, like, I've got to start separating. And here's a lesson for everyone here as well. You've got to somewhat separate the long-term investing and the trading. Don't let the trades become the long-term investments. Never. But what I find myself doing too much is I'm looking so much and people are following, and saying, what are you buying in your long-term account? Asking me about it 5 times a day, that I'm looking at it too much. My best long-term investments were the ones that I never looked at. My MasterCard, where I made 2,000% over the course of a decade. The best ones were the ones I never looked at. Google, I was up like 500, 600, 700% over the course of a decade. So I'm trying to separate it. Like I said, I think the long-term thesis for AMD to be a major competitor with NVIDIA is there, especially in AI. And that's what I've made my bet on. So I'm trying to separate it here. I'm trying to not think, I can still take 15 points out of AMD here. Maybe I should sell it, instead of letting them. And maybe it goes all the way back down. But you've got to, have some money working for you. Other people say, why not just trade everything? Well, the reason is I don't get 2,000% gainers in my trading portfolio. So I think, if you want to build wealth, you got to be able to separate trading and investing.
Well, I know Joel's one of the experts on this, but I just want to say, at least from what you're saying there, is that I don't even say my money working for me. I want the market to work for me. At this point, I feel like you've done the hard point, which is get the nice entry. You've gotten the nice entry. You got some good timing on it. It got a nice little expansion. Now it's time to let the market do its thing, right? It's going to tell you if you need to get out on this or not.
If AI is a bubble and it's not going to do anything in the future, and AI is just, this was the bubble, this is blockchain, this is, the COVID shot, this is just another bubble, and AI is not going to change anything, then this AMD probably should be sold. But I don't believe that. I think AI is equivalent to where the internet was in 1997. So maybe AMD is not going to be the player. Maybe I'm going to be wrong. But I'll tell you, out of the Amazons and the AMDs and some of these companies that I've been buying on the pullbacks here now, there's going to be some of these are going to be major players in AI if AI is real. I think AI is real. I think we're where the internet was in 1998. I think that's why they're paying ridiculous valuations for these things, because some of these actually might grow into them. I think you want to be buying potential AI plays on pullbacks from good companies, not talking some of these companies that are just trying to get the AI headline.
S&P's just breached by just a few ticks the low from yesterday, which was 93 even. That also represents your low from last Thursday. So we basically have given back all the gains from yesterday's session here. And we got something going on here at 8:39. I mean, this has just been a pretty much straight down it's been not like the sell-offs you get during the day where they whipsaw you around. This has been pretty steady. Just made a low at 91.25. Not a lot of daily support in here, folks. I gotta be honest with you. Not a lot of daily support underneath. We'll see what happens when that liquidity comes in at 9 o'clock. We do have Tim Seymour. We got him dialed up for 8:50. So would this be an opportune time to do our TradeZero segment?
Sure.
Yeah, definitely. Let me go ahead and get my share screen up here, and then we can go into TradeZero team. You guys out there, let us know if something's on your radar today. All right, let's get to it. Let's see what's on the Gapper scanner today. Showing up, of course, we've talked about some of these names. Let's get to CELH, Celsius Group. Taking a
Upgraded.
little lift. Nice little upgrade.
That is.
Staying
Oh,
up
actually,
here.
sorry, it's a buy rating. I don't believe it's an upgrade. I don't remember who it is. So I wrote it down last night, but I didn't write who was buy rating by.
Let me grab it.
Maybe it
right
was
quick
upgrade.
here. Yeah, it looks like I have an outperform this morning from Wedbush.
Initiate
But
outperform.
it's a maintain, and then a raise a price target of 155.
Yeah, so CELH trading up on that. It's got this story. I mean, it's still got the story intact. The stock is still hot. So when
Monster's
it gets,
still hot?
buy rating, it's at all-time highs. How can you argue with this? I mean, you go from $3 to $147. Is it overdone? I don't know, but I'll tell you the trend is still intact, and the thing's making new all-time highs. I don't short stocks making new all-time highs.
So you want me to risk $2.50 to make $5 here on this stock with a 155 target?
Is that what they
Pass.
put the target was?
Yeah,
155?
right, Mitch?
Yeah, 155.
What?
Okay. Yeah, I'll just say the all-time high was made last week at 150.35. We hit a good level yesterday when we hit 149.47. The only thing I would do on this one, when I think about an upgrade, what about the Spotify upgrade? That one that was 2 days ago. We talked about 160. It hit 160 on the kisser and actually traded 152.80 that day. So not chasing this one.
Yeah, I was looking at Monster's chart. Did that have a split or something? Is there a reason why it's down to 59? Or maybe it's just my charting being a little weird here. I'm just kind of caught by
The
surprise.
charting's
seeing it
weird.
down
I
there.
have monsters setting up. I don't have that on my chart. I have monster near all-time highs. Monster's
Okay.
don't monster.
That's weird. Why would that? Oh, I did MSTR. It's MNST.
Oh,
I got it up.
Joel's done it.
I got it. I got it. I got it near all-time highs too.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm having some charting issues there. Let's keep it going. We'll go to the next stock here. Let's get to RTX up a little bit.
That's on Kramer pump. So RTX is
Oh,
trading up.
Kramer.
pitched this stock last night. Kramer pitched the stock, talked Ukraine and the war, and talked all kinds of things that the market wanted to hear. So Jim Kramer can still move stocks when he just gets out there and just runs a full pitch. He pitched RTX. That is indeed why this stock is trading where it is.
98.62, and that just happened to happen right around when Kramer was on. So I just keep an eye on that target. S&P's continuing to lose altitude here.
Big time.
Yeah, down 32. Dennis, is there a whole slew of sell imbalances or something?
To me, this seems like the classic trap, right? Just bring it all the way up yesterday, and then look at that. Now it's so low. Like, would you, even me, that I love the short, like now I'm coming in the market like, man, but everything's already wiped out. Like, it's just hard to short
wiped
now.
out? You want to look at the charts on the downside? I mean, come on, don't say we're wiped out. I mean,
it's just hard. My thing is, I hate shorting into weakness. I actually like shorting into pops.
Yeah,
up.
well,
And so
Well,
that's the hardest
that's
thing.
something we teach on the show is like
Yeah.
overall trend, selling stocks that are popping that are in overall downtrends, buying stocks that are rallying in overall that are in overall uptrends, buying stocks in the dips. I mean, that's something we've taught on the show for a long time, and that's I think the best way to trade these markets still. Those up overall at 90 days, get you like the first chart I look at on something if I don't know the stock is always 90 day. Yeah. I want to know, is this stock trending up or down in the last 90 days? Or there's buyers, is there underneath demand or overhead supply? First question. I mean, for the most part, like if I'm trading Apple, Amazon, I don't need to bring up a chart to see those. I know what they look like. Because I see, I'm trading these things all the time. But if you just go out of the blue and let's say, okay, we're going to grab this little small cap stock that's getting, added into the micro caps, and then we're going to look at, I just grab one like, BBAI, for instance. I don't know what the chart looks like on that. I don't trade it. So, okay, overall, it's in a downtrend. So that means, there's probably a lot of overhead supply here. Is there an AI story here on this? Maybe, it's had a couple pops off of it before. So I got to be aware of that if I'm shorting it. But overall, that downtrend, persists. So, I mean, and again, that's, the way I approach it.
All right, I'm looking at the down gapper now, and I can see one that I'm at least still holding the tiniest piece. I'll just be as honest as I can be. I only got one share left. Adobe keeps going lower. We'll see what I do with this one. I'm just trying to hold it now. Just trying to see if this can just keep cracking through levels.
I mean, you had a good call on that. We had a good call when we covered it 2
There was
days
a combo.
ago.
Yeah.
Because we talked about it going to struggle. It had an upgrade, I believe. And we're like, well, this is actually a selling opportunity because you already had the big reversal day from last Friday. And then you got the upgrade and we knew there was overhead resistance at 500. So that was kind of a pretty good setup to try the short side from 490 to 495. 495 tops it out. Stock's sitting here now breaking down new lows. It's just been on a hell of a run. I think you think about a 50% retracement of the move. 350 up to 518. Oh gosh, Joel, I need your math. $170 move. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know.
Take half of that at 85, knock the 85 off the 518. Let's call it 440-ish, and that would fill the gap.
Oh,
Gets
nice.
down there
I
near
like
440. I think, I think there's an opportunity.
440. There's
Bring
no
in that
way
baby.
How about?
I'm not saying it's going there. I'm saying that's where I'd be interested in buying.
And let's just do an opposite exercise here, Mitch. Why don't you put a stop, say, come and get me.
Come and get me
up here. Because that's what you did. That's when you stayed in the position. You said, yep, come and get me. At what? 490. You said, this is it. Come and get me. Because it's so hard. I mean, look at, like, when you were looking at the AMD, Dennis, the only thing I could think about was that gap fill. Of getting a gap fill. And if it took out the low of the gap area, what's doing it right now? It's going to do it today. 108.91. It's going to do it today. So it's just those kind of things. But what else we got in the down filter?
All right. Of course, Tesla showing up here. Netflix starting to pull back.
Tesla yesterday.
Tesla. I mean, dude, this is just a hard stock to short. I'll tell you that much, man. Just be careful out there, team.
Gets the downgrade from Adam Jonas yesterday, and we talked that he always talks out two sides of his mouth because he always gives a bear case and a bull case, so he's hedged. It's just the way he is. So he did downgrade it, but it was more profit taking. It wasn't that it was weakness, just that stock had run too much too fast. It went down for about an hour, and then just turned around and they couldn't stop buying it again. Now I did have Ron Barron on CNBC here this morning, and he was really
bullish
Tesla. He was talking Tesla for so long Becky had to take him away from Tesla because he wouldn't stop talking it. So he was saying he thinks $500 by next year on Tesla, and he's still all in. So he is very bullish. Tesla popped a little bit on that interview, has leaked back. Overall market not helping it here too. I think you're buying dips on Tesla still. Bulls are in control, at least from a trading perspective.
All right. Any levels you want to give, Joel, on Tesla?
Oh, man, that was such a choppy day yesterday. Boom. I would say right now the mark it would be pretty important. 64.61. If I was stuck on this, I'd have something out there at that level. That 48.25. It just if you were looking for a low under that at 47.29, you got absolutely snuffed because it went 48.25. So right now, the only relevant number is that closing price, 64.61, and that coincides with the high of the day at 265.
I gotta tell you, so far not so good for this Russell and the Russell rebalance day. IWM is absolutely getting hammered here right now. It's now down 1.43%. Gotta think 180 is where we broke out from. I would think you're gonna find some support there. So if you're short the IWM, I'd think about bringing it in at 180. So about 60 cents down from here. Is there room for it to continue to fall? If we start getting more bank failures, it's going to go a lot lower. But I mean, now you're boom, talk to 50% retracement of the recent move. It was an 8% move for the IWM in about 5 days. That was way too much, way too fast. It's filling that up and filling that back. Now, the question is, does it just continue to go down here, or do we get that support at 180? I think that's the first stopping point.
Are we missing something? This is just such an orderly sell-off.
Just continued selling pressure all morning.
Yeah.
Maybe there was a headline. Chad, help us out here. Was there some macro stuff being said here that spooked the market? Because in the last few minutes, because we continue to leak here since we started the show.
I mean, Bostic's at 8:30. Bostic said the banking sector is quite strong.
Who believes
like
these guys? Like,
what are
how
they
could you
supposed to
go?
say? He's not going to come out and say
No,
the banking
do
sector
not
looks
say
like
that,
crap.
man.
We worry that they're all going to fail again.
Good
We can say it
Lord.
on pre-market prep.
At,
Looks
at
like
least,
crap. I'm worried that there may be more failures. I'll say it.
at least say that you're not certain that there could be more issues there. Try to say something a little bit better than that. To just say
Strong
they're
and resilient.
quite
If I was
strong.
there,
Say that to KRE as it
Yeah, say
approaches
that
the
to
lows.
JPM yesterday, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America yesterday. You guys see that chart? That's not a good looking chart there. And
None
not a
of
good
the
looking
banks
chart
look
at all.
good. This is why the IWM has started rolling over. Don't look further than the banks. I mean,
Yeah, man.
again, small caps rely on lending. Banks go into problems, small caps got problems.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. The connections there. We've talked about this before. IWM has shown a lot of weakness because of the banks. There's not a coincidence that IWM showed strength in the first part of June because the KRE was rallying. Now, as it starts to roll over here again, the IWM is like, oh, crap. Here we go again. Now, maybe not. Maybe we're going to find some support here. KRE needs to find some support, though. So if you're getting bullish small caps, you better see some stabilization in the KRE.
One
one
way
of
I'm
that
still
I'll,
long lots of IWM, but it's not going great.
Wow. Okay. All right. 86.50 is your current low. If you're looking for some daily levels going back to June 13th and 14th, you have a pair of lows at 44.82. After that, man, things really, really drop off a cliff. But as we know, this market likes to zig and zag. I mean, I'm almost going to have to fold my level sheet over because I was looking for a rally. I was looking for Tuesday's high at 44.62. I could just like fold that over and just say forget about that and may have to put some more numbers on the downside here. The lowest level I have for today is 43.48.75. That was your June 12th low, and that was what 11 days ago. So we'll see what happens. Still a lot of time. Gonna have a fun opening. And anything else in the filters?
We should go Tim pretty soon. 8:52. We're gonna run over.
Yeah, where is?
We'll see when he gets here. Right now,
Oh, he's not here yet.
Not yet. But so one I wanted to take a look at was AI. They had their investor day yesterday. Let's just say things might have not gone as planned. Because definitely they're starting to take a good hit to the downside. C3 AI is what I'm talking about, of course. So I was keeping an eye on it yesterday. Even I was like, investor day, this would be the day that it should get the lift, right? They're talking about their systems. But when I started hearing their conversation on their products, the guy even said it. This is not a large language model. This is a small language model. And right when he said that, I saw the stock just take a big hit. And I was like, man, probably not the things you want to be saying here on their presentation. So I would be worried about some of these AI names that aren't what I would call true AI to start taking that downturn.
Well, here's the problem is a lot of people like, this is the AI play. It's got the ticker symbol AI. It's got the ticker symbol, folks, but I don't know if it's going to be your Microsoft and your Amazons and your Metas and your NVIDIAs. I'm saying no. So I'm saying AI, this stock could potentially be a bubble. I don't think AI in itself, artificial intelligence, is a bubble. I think it's going to continue to grow. I'm scared that this stock in itself could be a bubble, though, just because of the ticker symbol. So I'm very scared of the stock, no position.
All right.
35 and a half, Mitch. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Of course.
I'm looking, we're trading on the lows of the pre-market session, a really bad 3 days. But you did have step up buyers June 7th through June 9th. I'll just give you your series of lows. If you're looking for a potential target, 35.30, 35.63, 35.81. So you mix all that together in my math and you come up with 35.50.
All right. One more look at a stock, and I'm just calling out stocks that I thought were really interesting yesterday. One that was really interesting, had a really good up day, but now going lower in the pre-market is PanW.
New all-time high yesterday, right?
Yeah, big push.
These stocks, man.
Big
Again,
push,
these are the kind of
and then it
stocks
turns
you
around.
want to buy on pullbacks. Again, though, it's run a lot. So is a pullback $3 or is a pullback $30? I don't know. I don't know how much you can get, but I tell you one thing: we get a little bit of life in the S&P, and this stock's an all-time high. We get a little bit of life in the S&P, and Amazon makes a new 52-week high. You can see the relative strength very clearly. Cybersecurity issues are not going away. This is best of breed. Yes, the valuation is nosebleed, but again, when a story is hot, valuation doesn't matter. The cybersecurity story is still hot. PANW has been a monster. Jim Cramer been absolutely right on PANW.
All right, let's go ahead. I'll tell you what, we got our guest team. Smash the like.
All right. Good morning, Mr. Seymour, CIO, Senior Asset Management. You see this handsome face on CNBC as well. Are you getting ready for the Russell rebalance here, Tim? How you doing?
Who's not? I mean, this up all night for this one. Sorry I'm late. I was still trying to figure out how, 5 of the first 6 guys in the NBA draft didn't play college basketball. And I guess the college game is over. I mean, why? This is why I didn't play college basketball, obviously. Just kidding. Anyway,
I like the little Rangers. The little Rangers. Did you put that there, Mitch?
I did that, of course. That's my boy. I got it ready for him.
Thank you. Well, and we're always looking forward to next year, it seems, in New York. So that's one Stanley Cup since 1940. But
I didn't draft you this year, Tim. I was looking for it.
It's interesting. I think they needed a little bit more muscle in the playoffs. I'm surprised they didn't, pick me up for a grinder, a third or fourth line. I mean, I'm pretty mean in the corners. But look, we've suffered mightily once again this year. I guess things are probably a little worse in Toronto, but no one really wants to hear my view of hockey. So I know we don't have a ton of time left. What can we talk about?
I just want to talk the market here. I mean, we got the Russell rebalance day. We had a really nice run into quad witch. And if you follow our mantra, quad witch, blow off tops, expiration, sometimes, turning points in the market. If you follow that strategy, you're looking okay. So the question is here, have we is this, where's the pullback going to stop? What are you looking to buy on dips, or is it too early to do that and you'd be more, trying to sell rips at this point?
Well, one of the things that I think is consistent with at least the analysis you put forward on quad witch is and people have been talking about the broadening of the market, and if you look at where S&P market cap weighted versus the overall index, and that they're S&P's up 5% and the equal weight is 4.63. You can make this argument that the market is broadened, but one of the things that's been going on that I think going into quad witch is critical is hedge funds have been degrossing. Hedge funds have been taking down a significant amount of their book, and some of that is de-risking. Some of that is a function of where we are. There's a lot of mixed signals on where record short E-minis. And a lot of people think that people are underinvested. There's no way people are underinvested here on some level. And I think what we've seen over the last couple of days is very much some of that gross coming down. And remember, we're talking about popular longs against notable shorts. And looking at some of the PB data that I get, definitely you can see, for example, right now the hedge fund community is probably somewhere 3 to 4/10% underweight their bogey on the S&P, which isn't massive stuff, but it's clearly a case where we pulled back a lot, and it's interesting because actually the international overweight is something we haven't seen in a long time. So there's definitely some rotation going on. I do think that there's a case where I don't think this has been 7 stocks that have taken us here, but I do think that there should be some room for caution. Every sentiment indicator, every momentum indicator is very different than where we were 6 months ago. So, in my 17 years on fast money, I don't think I've ever seen sentiment as negative as it's been in the last 6 months. And I'm not going to Monday morning quarterback you. I'm going to say that I feel like we've had one of the greatest trading markets, and it's the market we've had, and I think that's part of the reason it's done what it's done.
Go
ahead, Dennis.
Let's take it to the emerging markets here. You just mentioned them just briefly here, and I mean, it's been the tale of two markets really over in Asia. You've had Japan breaking out and making, coming up to 30-year highs. And then you have China, which just cannot seem to get anything going. Every time we seem to get a little rally going in the FXI, it just sells off again here. Is, their catch-up trade eventually with China here in Japan, like closing that gap back up? Or is this something that is going to persist just because of geopolitical risk? Talk about, China and Asia altogether.
Again, if you look at Asia, MSCI, Asia, the developed Asia, it's overweight Europe by about 3% versus the S&P, which is the most overweight that I think it's been on recent record. If you look at the inflection of the Euro Stoxx 50 against the S&P back in August and really then in October, and I'm not saying it's a runaway train, but that was 11 years of underperformance. So Japan is a place where part of the story in Japan is what's ailing the rest of the world. I mean, deflation is seemingly dead. You've got some dynamics also with the TSE where they've forced payout ratios and more liquidity dynamics on kind of the anchor companies. I think just in terms of payout ratios, Japan's one of the most interesting places relative also to itself, where they weren't paying out anything for a long time. But I think we've had a huge run. I look at the emerging world, and I'm always a little skeptical because I've spent so much time there that every time the setups look so great. I mean, the setup in March and April of 2001 for me was, wow, we're off to the races, and it was again one of those breakout moments for EM, and we got clubbed back down. You tell me what your view is on the dollar, and I'll tell you what I think you can do investing internationally over the next 6 to 9 months, because the dollar doesn't need to go significantly lower; it just can't go a lot higher. And so I look at the DXY. I think we're probably going to test 200 on this run. But it was really a move from 2011, 2012 on the dollar that is one of the most extraordinary runs it's ever had. And I don't think people talk enough about that and the impact it had on international. I'm advising on an international ETF strategy, IDEVO, which is the sister ETF to DEVO, which is a big ETF that measures with companies that are paying increasing free cash flows and div payouts, and IDEVO is the international sister to that. And to me, it's a great time to be buying best of breed companies. I don't think you have to, I'm not talking about reaching deep into EM. I'm talking about global multinationals, a Novartis, a Sanofi, Diageo, that I think are increasing their payout ratio. So I like international. It's never going to be such a major part of everybody's weighting that I think they're gonna be banging the table with both hands. It's a fascinating time. I think Japan looks a little richer. I really do.
Last question here for you, Tim. I just wanted to ask, of course, we've been seeing how the AI has really kind of brought these values and this rally back. Of course, there's going to be some true winners here in AI. What are some of those names that you're looking at, Tim?
Yeah, I think it's the names that are sprinkling AI pixie dust across retail and across some of the other spots that to me, there's a zero-sum game in terms of the size of that addressable market. But there are the folks that might be taking some of market share. And so, moving away from even in the chip space, I do like Facebook. I do like both the combination of Facebook's certainly changed the messaging, and it's been a margin accretion. Let's cut expenses. Let's forget about the metaverse. But really, 26 or 7% of Facebook's content is AI driven now. The expandable TAM they have for their Reels business and for some of the e-commerce that I actually think they will continue to grow in at a multiple that is still not terribly demanding. So that's kind of how I choose to look at it. I'm a little scared, like I think many people, when I look at really what the runaway train has been like, even though I know NVIDIA told us they've got 3 to 4 quarters of visibility based upon those growth rates. We can all surmise what the peg is. I'm not chasing that, and I'm also not chasing the AI story more broadly. I think what it actually might mean is that bigger industrial old economy companies just like technology, but the internet and DTC and all these in the cloud. I think this is a margin accretion for equities, and that's why there's been a wake up for the broader market. I'm not going to ascribe this necessarily as a home run to outside of who it's obviously been a home run to.
Always good to have you, Tim Seymour. You guys check him out, CNBC's Fast Money and CIO of Seymour Asset Management. We'll have you back on, my friend, and we'll see what the Rangers can do next year.
Thank you, Mitch. Thanks, Joel. Thanks, Dennis. Sorry
Thanks,
so late today. Give me more time next time. I promise I'll be back for more. All right.
Have a good one,
Thank you.
Tim. Take care. All right, let's go ahead. We'll wrap it up here. Dennis, you're ready? Russell, rebalance?
Yeah, so again, doing the homework, we'll just reiterate what we were saying off the top of the show is there's going to be a lot of movement here on the close. Expect big movements here and a lot of these adds and deletes. So not necessarily that the ads are going to go up and the deletes are going to go down. It's not that simple anymore. Sometimes you actually see the opposite occur. But just be aware that there is usually some jockeying from big institutional players, ETFs that are trying to track this, that will have to be buying certain stocks and selling short other stocks. Again, if you want those lists, go to Russell Reconstitution. You can Google it quickly. The ads and the deletes are publicized here. They came out 2 weeks ago, the official lists. So we know what is going in and going out here. I've printed them all out. I was showing you earlier. There's, literally here a pile of pages of these ones. I have about 20 pages of ads and deletes in here that I'm going to be trading. Again, one of the big deletes out of the 3,000 is Dell Technologies, DELL. Expect some movement in that one. A lot of these names you're not going to have heard of. Express, I'm just cherry pick a few of these deletes here for you. EXPR. INSG was a darling there from a while ago, which we participated in for a while there too. LL Flooring, Lumber Liquidators. RIDE is a delete. Remember that one back in the day? RIDE. Rite Aid, RAD. Root, that's been had. So Root is a delete. ROOT. That's had some recent M&A rumors on it here. So that's always interesting when they have it's going to have some movement off of rebalancing when they're stocks that are potentially in play.
Yep. I saw this one as an ad, CXAI. I'm going to keep this one on my radar. Look at the daily chart on this thing, man. This thing's just sleepy. So I don't know. Yeah,
write that one down because that one has been moving a lot with the AI stocks. And when you get also a Russell rebalance movement, you could get some movement in there. So maybe it's going to take you out of a trade. Maybe it's going to allow you to initiate a trade that you wanted here. You're right, Mitch. This is a sleepy stock. You've just been hanging out. Is that an ad or a delete, Mitch? I did not notice.
It's an ad. That's an ad. It's an ad. I caught it on the ad.
Okay, cool.
So you know me, I'm trying to look for stocks that maybe
look for stocks sometimes maybe that you
for.
trade even, that are on this list. And just be aware that if you're just blindly trading, there's going to be some movement here. So maybe it just keeps you from making a really bad trade. Technicals won't matter on these things on the close. It's going to matter whether the buys or the sells are there. It's going to matter. The imbalances are going to matter. So keep an eye on that.
Take a look at the list, guys. We threw up the list multiple times there in the chat. I hope you have a great day, Dennis. Like always, let's get to our trading action.
Luck, everyone.
Let's get focused. And like always, we got to be nimble, right? We're seeing these kind of swings overnight. Be nimble. Let's see what happens at the open. And of course, price action always leads. Have a good one, Dennis. Take care, my friend. All right, going to bring you guys over to live trading. That's coming up next. Don't go anywhere. Let's see what I can get into today. Let's see if we can go ahead and continue the trend. Of course, I still got some shorts out there. I do have one position in the red. I have a swing on BJ. We'll see if that one works out. It's just slightly in the red. Was looking to take a little bit of a shot into some of the department stores. Been seeing Walmart go a little bit higher. These discount stores, of course. Costco go higher. Will BJ's get a little lift? Find out, of course. Come over to live trading. See what we're getting into. I'll see you guys over there. Hit the like button. Like always, right here on Benzinga is where you guys can keep growing, especially you traders. Keep growing those skills. And like always, check out Pre-Market Prep. Hit up my man, Dennis Dick, and of course, Joel Elconin. If you guys have any question on the market, they're always here to help you out.